Hello everybody, before we get started, I just want to let you know this is an old scrapped video that I was going to make, actually after the Finance at Candy's video. So I have obviously got better at making videos since then, a little bit at least. So it might be a little rough around the edges, and I also have had like 2 days to edit it for the deadline, so enjoy, maybe, I don't know, bye! As you probably know, I love FNAF games, but what I love more, recently especially, is FNAF fan games. Today, I'm going to talk about a FNAF fan game, which I think really stands out in a good way. It's a part of the niche genre of, like, FNAF parody games, and to say the franchise built on a mountain of child death, it's got a surprising amount of parody games. You know, like Five Nights at Frick Boys, and the Day Shift at Freddy series. But today I'm going to talk about a fan game that I found on GameJolt, and the full game came out very recently, called Five Nights at FRIEDRIC'S. I'm sorry if I mispronounced anything in this video. The game is in English, but it's set in Germany, so I might mispronounce some things here and there, I don't know. Anyway, this is peak FNAF fun game in my eyes. It's silly, it's funny, and it's really well made. Before I start, I'm going to mention a lot of things that I'll be saying about the characters themselves comes from the wiki and the game's creators' Q&A on YouTube. So, let's get started, and press new game, and get started, and press new game. We disable the copyright music and... oh, that's cool. We read Flingjuaries and see that FRIEDRIC'S has opened its newest location, and the night guard position is taken by an enthusiastic young fellow who slapped the windows of the establishment until they hired him. Is that me? Is that me? Did I do that? Also, Frog President! He's green, he flies, he's awesome, man. That's my president, hell yeah! We load into the office and pick up the Night Guard's handbook. All the pages have been ripped out, but there is a checklist on the back telling us the basics of the first night. For now, we only have 2 animatronics to worry about, Bernard and Clara. Let's look at Bernard's poster. He's described as a smarty pants brainiac who might tell you a fun fact. That's nice. Let's have a look at him in game. Oh, great heavens! Never mind. Clearly the posters are very outdated. Let's go with the Celebrate poster instead. That must be more accurate, right? Let's go with Clara now. Horrifying. Okay. Anyway, Bernard stomps around the pizzeria. Literally, you can hear him. And he goes to either left or right door. In this game, the office doesn't have lights or doors. You only have a laser button. So instead of closing the door on an animatronic, if you know they're at your door, you just laser him. With Bernard, you can tell he's there because he reaches into the office. It doesn't have a sound cue, and it's one of the only things in the game which doesn't have a sound cue. So you need to look at the door to make sure he's there. It's mentioned in the wiki he's one of the most gangster animatronics, whatever that means. Clara, on the other hand, stays on the stage as long as pizza is cooking in the kitchen. If you leave it too long and don't make pizza, she will start to make pizza herself and set the whole pizza on fire, making you use the sprinklers, which jams the doors, which means there's a slight delay when you press them. It's not much of a problem on the earlier nights, but when you're later into the game and you only have a small time window, it can be a major issue. Also, PP Roni, haha funny. The wiki says that once Gordon Ramsay showed up to the restaurant and pointed out a mouse, and Clara said, "You planted that, dude. You put that there." This night's easy enough. Just make pizza and keep Bernard out. And we reach 6 AM, and we are thrown straight into night 2. We get the next manual page telling us about the best animatronic in the entire game. I love Felix. You love Felix. We all love Felix, okay? He is endlessly captivated by the spinning wheel. And that's it. That's his whole thing, and I love him for it. If his beloved wheel stops spinning, he runs to your office, full sprint, and just stares at you until you put the wheel back on. He does block the doorway while he does this, but he can't even kill you. He just wants his wheel, man. And god damn it, if I'm not gonna give it to him. He also has my favorite wiki page, which says he owes a lot of money to the German government. He listens to those, quote-unquote, Goku tells you you're a good boy type of ASMR videos. I could not relate. Don't let your crown fall, King. Don't let it fall. You couldn't really stop it because, you know, But, you know, you get the idea. Also, Felix is supposed to be the drummer of the band, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work. The other animatronic is Endoskeleton. I'm just gonna say Endoskeleton, though. He works the same as Bernard, except he has an audio cue for when he's at the door, which makes it pretty easy to know when he's there. Which is really nice if you're on the cameras or just busy dealing with other things. I did die on this night to Clara, though, and we get to see her jump scare. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the animations in this game. I think it's one of the best aspects of the whole thing. Instead of just teleporting like other FNAF games, you can see them actually slightly move on the camera when they either enter or leave. This is a really cool touch, and it just shows how much passion was put into the game. The only person who doesn't have an animation on the camera is Felix, but the creator said that's just because he's that fast, which is hilarious. On camera 7, there's quite a lot of drawings, notably Walter White, Purple Guy, and I'm guessing it's Isaac, and our wonderful frog president. While looking at these, Bernard killed me and used my arm as a back scratcher. I'm purple. Purple guy! Purple guy! Purple guy! I ended up dying quite a lot, especially in the earlier nights of the game, because I just wanted to look around and look at the animatronics and stuff. I could barely concentrate on actually surviving, but eventually I locked in and beat night 2. On night 3, we get another manual page, and we're told that Frederick is now active. Yippee, yay! Also, this guy is such a menace that they locked his legs in place so he can't wander around. What did this man do? Jesus Christ! Also, the wiki says he's one of the other most gangster animatronics. Again, whatever that means. He climbs up the vent above him and crawls his way towards the office and needs electrocuting to turn back to the stage. You can actually hear him banging around in the vents every time he crawls a bit closer towards you. You just laser him and he screams. I died to the endoskeleton this night and oh, that's horrible. Also, I'm gonna kill whoever's fucking soaring outside my house while I'm trying to fucking record. Moving on. Another cool thing is the Celebrate poster changes to different FNAF fan games from time to time. It's always nice to see cameos from other games, like, you know, plushes and posters and such. All in all, I'm surprised how hard the game is already. I appreciate that the game gets right into things, though. And it doesn't spend the first couple nights just slowly, like, blah, 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 blah. It can often be a trial and error thing when you first start the night, and you have to deal with a new threat. But eventually, you just kind of learn to deal with it, and it feels really rewarding when you do. This is also the first time I somehow questioned the dead guy on the ground. He's just there. I don't know why I didn't question him before. With a handful of attempts later, the night's over, and it's a fourth night time. Instantly, we are thrust into darkness with nothing but a flashlight to see. We get informed that all the non-essential electronics have been shut down, meaning only your camera function and the lasers are active. This makes it a lot harder to spot Bernard in the office, especially. You need to look a lot harder to see his hand. It's really cool seeing all the animatronics in the dark, though. Though, by this point, you're basically locked in on the vents and the kitchen camera. One thing I actually found kind of annoying about the game is that you don't get time at the start of the night to read the instructions. So for me, most of the time I'd start a night, everything was already on fire because Clara was just burning things. But this is only a problem in the first time you attempt the night. And to be fair, you can just, you know, make a pizza when you first start. But it's kind of muscle memory to just click new thing immediately, for me at least. This night is a nice change, and I like the flashlight gimmick. There's a nice difficulty spike from night 3 to here. And the thing about the difficulty is, it is really hard, but the game... Most of the animatronics have a loud sound letting you know where they are or when they've moved, so it always feels like the player's fault when you die. I really like this because in some FNAF games, it feels like the sound cues can be really hard to pick up. But in this game, they're clear-cut, making it feel like it really is your fault. Instead of like, just not hearing the sound, you weren't quick enough to react to the sound. Eventually, Frederick got into my office right at the end of the night, and this happens.
Oh, hello. Ow.
Yay, end of the night. Also, ow, that fucking hurt. Dude, we got the Gron treatment, man. We fell into an entire suit. Ow. He turns on the radio and we get some funky tunes. Also, I'm a tentacle monster now. That's fun. Okay, so the start of the night is a boss fight between us and Golden Frederick. The night changes hour by hour as our memory gets wiped, so thanks again for the wiki for telling me what actually happens each hour. To start off, Golden Frederick teleports to any camera, and you gotta find him until he disappears. After that, the night slowly gets harder and harder with adding more and more things, and by the end, all the animatronics are active. If Golden Frederick is at your door, you have to use the laser. If he's in your vent, you have to use the vent laser, and you gotta beat his ass if he shows up in your office. At 4 AM, he shuts the power off for that hour, and finally at 5 AM, the power turns on and only Golden Frederick is active again. But he's way more aggressive until eventually this happens.
Hi, I don't have the footage anymore, and I can't be bothered to beat the night again, so you just fucking die, lol.
And we get our first ending of the game. Lovely. Have fun being a weird tentacle thing, I guess. Bye. Now we get to play as a new night guard, because, you know. We get another newspaper showing us it's March 5th. And for some reason, the day shift worker has to be able to do a backflip, apparently. Also, they're hiring a part-time child actor to pretend to have fun, gamble, not speak, not eat pizza. That sounds great. Also, there's new friend. I feel like a fucking broke. I feel like a parrot. There's a new friend. There's a new friend. There's a new friend. There's a new friend in our office. Hell yeah. You gotta hold down his nose to keep him calm, and if you don't, he disables your cameras and lasers. So whenever you're in the office, you have to keep your mouse on his nose. This works really well because you can't see Bernard's hand at the left as long as you're keeping your hand on his nose to keep him calm. Also, his name is FRIEDRICH'S. I'm not saying that, so spring thing, I don't know. It's a risk and reward type situation which works really well, and it gives the player something to do in the office, except just checking the doors. This night is actually really hard. I gave up and had to come back the next day. Eventually I got the hang of it, and I finally, after a long time, beat the night. Yay, $217. That's nice. That was worth it. Is that SpongeBob? That's all the regular nights done. We basically unlocked all the extras menu too. And we also have the custom night now. I love this extras menu so much. You have a bunch of trophies you can unlock by doing different things. You can read each night's notes. You can see all the characters close and personal, including any variants you have of them. You can see all the jump scares you unlocked, all the posters in the game, all the fan characters, minigames, collectibles, end screens. I don't even know this one is, I can't find it! The care and attention put into this game is unbelievable. Personally, I'm really bad at FNAF games, so I didn't stand a chance at 720 mode. I mean, literally not a sliver of hope for me. But I do highly recommend you play this game for yourself, and see if you can unlock some of the collectibles that I couldn't. I'm also missing some things like seeing all the jump scares, so I'm pretty sure there's some like hidden characters or something that I just can't find. It's always adding in new things at just the right times, so it's not overwhelming, and it never gets boring. Honestly, this is one of the best FNAF games I've ever played. You can tell the amount of time and energy just poured into every single aspect of the game. I hope this game gets the recognition and praise it really deserves. And hey, maybe one day, I'll be good enough to do 720 mode. Maybe on stream, I don't know. But I think that's about it. I'm ending this video here. As I said before, I highly encourage you to play the game for yourself, as well as supporting the developer of the game. I'll leave the game I'll leave the game drop page in the description, so go check that out. And that's all for today. If you like this content, blah 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 blah, subscribe and hit the bell, blah 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 blah. Bye!